Hey everybody, it is Mike Bruce from lifestartswithfood.com and Life Starts with Food Health Coaching and all of those other fun things that I do. And I'm here with my wife, Kim.
Hi, guys. Good morning.
Kim, you are always a fan favorite.
Oh, really?
When you're on, I hear about about you for like the next 5 days or more from people. Like, I just love when you guys talk and when you guys are just there together.
Really?
And that's how people say it. I just love.
Like all hippie style?
I just love it so much.
I love it. It's so good.
So what's kind of funny is that is one of the reasons that we are doing this today, you and I. It's been a really tough week for us, a lot tougher for some of our friends, but a really busy week and a really tough week of trying to help some friends in need. And because of that, I just didn't get anything else scheduled, which God has his plans, because it hit me yesterday like, hey, I should just have the wife on. I'm always thinking as a coach, you think of all these different things, like the question that keeps coming up and keeps coming up and keeps coming up. That's the one that you learn how to address the best. And what consistently comes up in our life, Kim, is that, and this is not us. This is weird to us that this comes up so much, but people are amazed by us, and that weirds me out. We have conversations about how weird that is to us. But it's our relationship and our communication that I think is so odd to people. So we just wanted to come on and kind of talk about because this has been something that's on our hearts for a long time, is just helping other people, other marriages and other couples communicate better. We are in no way experienced at this, aside from that we've been together for 18 years. So, so we are not like a new relationship. Right. So, but we're not an old relationship. So we have some weight to carry here. We're in an interesting situation where we have that knowledge of what we've been through. And we have those couples that we look up to, from Adam and Vanessa Lambert to Heather and Craig Lottinen, and just a bunch of different people that we look up to that we really have learned a lot from, just witnessing how their marriage goes and how their relationship goes. So today we're just going to talk about things, and like, please, if you have a question about something, please ask us, because we're just hitting some basics. And again, Kim can attest to this. Like, if it didn't come up so much to us, like people talk to us as if we're unicorns, as like this marriage we have is a unicorn, and it shouldn't be. Like, we shouldn't have some magical narwhal with a unicorn on its back. Like this should be. That was me going even one step further than a.
That's really good. I don't know. I still would prefer a unicorn, but it's cool.
Well, unicorn riding a narwhal is what I said. I said it backwards.
Okay.
No, so I've stopped it there before. Okay, I apologize. Too far. So, and we're also in two different rooms just because we both like the setup, and Kim's neck is hurting really bad. So for her to stand and talk to me like this,
I can't really turn my neck very well right now. So I'm sitting on a kitchen chair, so I don't have to move.
So Kim, do you have any place you want to start, or do you want me to start, I guess?
I don't know. I mean,
can you start about like the troubles we've been through?
Well, oh gosh. Well, so like I was 15 when we met. So right there, like, that's a clue that I was a teenage girl at 15 who, I mean, everything is dramatic. Everything's the end of the world. And so I think things are a little bit different because we've grown so much from that point. We met each other when we didn't even know who we were. And
to add to that, I didn't know who I was, I'd say, until I was like 28, 30, 32, 35. I don't know. I mean, I'm 35 right now. I'm still learning a ton. But yeah, I literally had no sense of who I was until I was like 30, like a good sense of who I was. Yeah. And that continues to change as well.
I do think the expectation, though, of being able to know those things like immediately, that's a problem. I don't know if that's a society problem or what, or if that's just like, who your group is with. But I think the people that we surround ourselves with now have been really helpful and, like, find who you are and find who you are as a couple and grow with each other and don't be threatened by growth, things like that. So I think that's been really helpful, but we didn't have that in the beginning. So, we had a lot of back and forth. We broke up, I don't know how many times, like off and on. And
it's usually my fault. Usually means always.
Well, but I mean, we made our way back to each other. So that's a God thing, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's like the primary thing. I mean, we both always had a belief in God, but I think when we were getting married, there was a lot of drama there and things that happened. But the tough things, I think, are what help to strengthen your faith a lot of times. And so I think that pushed us to kind of come more together in our faith and find what worked for us as a couple and not just, what we grew up with separately.
Yeah. And it literally was just recently that we kept hearing this thing, like people would continually tell us how our marriage was something special. And like, we know it's special in certain ways, but not in like, we're not unique. We shouldn't be unique in our ability to have a communication with each other. But it just kept coming back that like, we didn't have an answer of why anything made us special. And I realized like, oh, it's God. I mean, a lot of the people that are bringing it up to us are not God-centered people. And if they are, and this is a sad point, if they are, they don't have a God-centered relationship. And do not let us like, don't make this think, don't let this lead you to believe that we are like hands and knees praying together constantly. We are actually very awkward praying together. We are not good at each other. We've been together a long time, and like outside of praying for meals or very randomly just praying when something is very seriously wrong, we don't really come together and pray the way that we should. That's a huge thing we're working on. And but nonetheless, God has always been not in the background, but in the foreground of our relationship. So in different ways. And that's just growing exponentially recently, which is really terrific. But yeah, like we are not doing things right yet. So
we have a long way to go. Yeah. But I think like, I don't know. I think one thing is like, we just have fun too.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I feel like that's not that hard, but it is hard. Like, I don't know. It's like how we always say, like, we've been together for so long. Like, how do we, like, we forgot like how to flirt with each other. Like, I think people forget how to have fun with each other. Or life gets in the way. Like, so we don't have children, so it's a little less complicated for us. It's a little easier for us to just, pick up and go and things like that. So I totally get that, you have kids, you've got obligations, you've got ill family members. Like, that makes it a lot harder. But I think even when we have craziness going on, we still try to prioritize fun or something to look forward to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's really helpful.
So one of the things, because I wrote like a bunch of notes in 2 seconds. So like one of the things that I really love, we have 2 games, two things that we look forward to tremendously that don't involve vacations. We just have like date nights, which thanks a lot, Corona, because this whole pandemic and everything has really
ruined it.
Yeah, it's really screwed with our date nights. But we like to sit in the corner of places, and like we go early. We eat really early. We're like early birds.
We're gonna be perfect old people.
Yes, we already are.
So good. So good.
So we sit there, and like the first half hour to hour and a half is just us like talking. Like people think we're newlyweds and stuff, because we just sit there and talk, and we drink wine together, and we eat together, we share food, and then next thing we know, the whole restaurant's filled, and that's when our favorite game comes in. Like, and I just loved looking around and realizing like, wow, we just spent all this time not paying attention to others, and then our next favorite game is as we start seeing people that look really familiar. And we might have brought this up with people before on here, but we play face mash.
Love it.
Face mash. We haven't face mashed anybody for a while.
Well, because we aren't seeing humans. But there's no new faces for us to mash.
Man, so
we're gonna have to start mashing our friends.
Yeah, so face mash is just when you have like somebody that you're like, man, that totally looks like so and so, but it really also looks like somebody else. Who the heck is it? And like, sure enough, if I can't figure it out, Kim's like spot on, and vice versa. So, and it's usually like
mash them together.
Yeah, like who comes up a lot?
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon comes up a lot. The guy that was the Green Goblin in one of the Spider-Men. movies. I love his name. Willem
Um,
Dafoe. Willem Dafoe comes up a lot.
oh,
The guy from Bless This Mess comes up a lot.
which one?
The main guy.
Oh,
Dax.
Dax Shepard.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of people that randomly look like a piece of him, you know? So you combine those all together. I think we had like a Dax Shepard and Tom Brady one time. That was a weird one.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet though.
But we just have these dumb games we play. And then secondly, like, we love weddings, but weddings weren't always fun for us.
Right.
This is where I had to grow. I always wanted to be the guy that was up there just dancing and having a great time and making my wife happy. And I was always so nervous to do that. And I literally don't know what happened. Just one day, God changed me and we were at a wedding and we had the best time ever. And I forgot about everybody else that was there and just kept dancing. And it was raining, we were dancing. It was sunshiny, we were dancing.
Oh, it was Jenna's wedding. I was saying, whose wedding was that? Yeah, I couldn't remember.
It was a big change in our marriage, I think.
Yeah, it's so fun. So fun.
We kind of jumped over a couple cornerstones aside from fun. Fun is really a cornerstone. But like the part where fun comes into play, I think, and maybe so we're not jumping a cornerstone. This is really part of it. We have people that we know of that they aren't themselves in front of their spouse. And it can be tough. As you start growing, you become someone different and your spouse becomes someone different. So do this together. Don't just stop at age 15 and keep growing apart, but you stay married or stay together. You want to grow into who you are, but at the same time, always be open and with your spouse about this and like embrace the new yous at every step of the way. We've changed 10 times.
Yeah. Not even just like, we're not the same people we met. We're not the same people we married. We're not the same people we were last year. So, but I think sometimes there's a tendency for one person or the other to be the one who's more prone to growth or change. And the other person finds it like they become defensive about it. Like you're saying what we have isn't good enough, or why are you, if it's not broke, don't fix it kind of thing. Right. So that's, and that could be from so many things, like in your raising that's ingrained into you, that like, just let it go, like status quo kind of thing. So I think that kind of challenges someone's core beliefs sometimes, just in general, like deep down inside, you have this belief and the other person is trying to change and it's a threat. So I think trying to do that together is a challenge for a lot of people. And it was for us too. Like it again, not easy. When you were like, we're not going to eat bread anymore, I was like, yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. Yeah. So,
and so I will say, like, another giant cornerstone of a marriage, like if you want to be the best spouse you can be, eat real food. Like,
yeah, for sure.
If you have no control over anger, that's not because you're just a jerk. That's because you're putting things in your body. What's up, Jimmy? Boston Jimmy says hi, Kim.
Hi, Jimmy.
That's my cigar buddy. So he has a great website, Stogie Press. What a great name. So, but yeah, so what was I saying right before that?
I wish I could remember.
Food. Like, literally, like, I named my business Life Starts with Food because what is the point of working on anything if your body is constantly in a drugged state? And I will repeat that. If your body is constantly in a drugged state, that's a real thing happening, because the food we're eating, it isn't food, it's chemicals. And if you put something in your body in a pill form that's chock full of chemicals, that's a drug. So if we're eating food, big time air quotes there, food that is chock full of chemicals, you aren't yourself. And you can ask Kim what I was like when I ate non-food items.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was constantly angry, constantly bleh. Like I had no ambition. Why you were with me? You were with a loser, a complete loser. Jimmy said, eat good, give each other space, and play together. That's like exactly it.
Yeah.
He just summed up, we're done. He summed it all up.
It's like a mic drop. Boom. I think the space thing, that's kind of interesting too, because although I didn't love it at first, like it was a lot worse, our scheduling for a while. So you would work in a lot of the evenings. We were total opposite. That was too much. But now you work like 2 evenings a week, and I get a little bit of time, and you don't have as much anymore as you used to, but you would have some time to yourself. And it's like, it's a very odd thing.
I don't have any time to myself now.
I have zero. And now I'm always home, and I kind of feel bad about that, because honestly, there's something different about being by yourself.
But this is a dream come true for me. Because now when I want to take time by myself, you're just right upstairs.
Yeah.
Like I can go downstairs and work on mead or cider or work out, and you are right upstairs. So that's super cool for me. Like, yeah. So because I always want to share stuff with you. Like anytime I do something, I want to share it. And like, I have to call you and annoy you at work or whatever. Now I just run upstairs and I like peek in to make sure you're not on a call.
Yeah, you're like calling me like, dude, listen to this. And I'm like, okay, well, I gotta go. So
I have 5 retirees in my office right now.
Kind of in the middle of something. So I don't know. What else? What else do we want to talk about? I feel like, can I say something, or do you want to go with your train of thought?
Go ahead.
I think that like figuring out, and this is hard just to do individually too, but figuring out each other's like superpowers and kind of leaning into those and just trusting into that, I feel like that makes a big difference too.
So that was kind of my next kind of comment there. So like, don't ever rely on blue jobs and pink jobs, which is what Kim's grandpa that passed away last year, the year before, used to always say, "Oh, that's a blue job. I don't do that." And it was always a big joke because Kim and I do all sorts of, we have a bunch of purple jobs. So he would always kind of harass us and harass everybody else about that. But just because the dishes are a pink job doesn't mean you can't do the dishes. And like, if you want to make your wife happy, do the dishes so she doesn't have to stay up at night trying to do them.
Literally, if that's all that anyone takes from this, it's probably just because of me. But husbands, if you just do the dishes, we are going to be so much happier. Yeah. So much happier.
And I don't like using dishwashers, so I hand wash everything. And like a lot of times, I'm still used to being home alone. I would have the dishes sitting out throughout the day, and then I would wash them all right before Kim came home. It would take me 5 minutes. And now I put my dishes back in the sink, and I come back and they're done. And I feel like a loser because I'm not cleaning up after myself. But you were saying superpowers. I truly believe that if everybody read the 5 love languages and read it thoroughly enough that they put it in practice with their spouse, who cares about anybody else in this world? With your spouse.
Yeah.
If they read that, and also the 4 tendencies by Gretchen Rubin, because I just feel like the 2 of those combined, the 4 tendencies, like depending on what your tendency is, people will be taken advantage of. People will will take advantage of others, or you will have somebody constantly angry and like rebelling with anything you try to ask of. Just different things like that. And when you combine that with someone's love language, which I don't care if you like presents and you're buying your wife presents all day and she's not happy. What if her love language is not buying presents? How much money can you save to buy yourself presents? So, but if her love language is words of gratitude or words of, I think that's one, words of gratitude. So,
or encouragement. I can't remember which one it is.
Yeah,
but,
or if her love language is touch, or so what is it? Touch, words of encouragement,
acts of service,
presents, like gifting, and then
somebody chime in, tell us what they are.
But yeah, so that's when you can find the right love language for a person, it makes a massive difference. And Kim has the unfortunate issue with me. I think every single one of them is mine because I was
it's
like
impossible.
I was like the most insecure person ever in this world. And I just wanted to hear like blessings and gratitude from everybody all the time. And I wanted to hear all these great things all the time. And now I don't care what anybody else thinks, really, as long as I know I'm true to myself, and as long as I know I'm on the right footing with Kim. Like that's all that matters to me in this world, like God and you and like myself. So
Ted
I love
Jackson.
everybody out there, but without those things being lined up right, all three of them, but mostly the God. But if all three of those aren't lined up right, then I'm not being true to God either. So my spouse and myself have to be lined up as well to be true to God. Those really, that's the only two places in my life that I can think of that I have a literal contract with God is my spouse and is through me. I don't make contracts with God for other people.
Yeah, a covenant is a pretty big deal.
Yeah. So like, I want to make sure that at every moment, I'm like on the right step with God. So, or else nothing else kind of matters. But so, yeah, I think those two books, if you're just looking at, and here's the thing, your spouse does not have to read these books for you to have a better marriage.
Right. It's not like, because we hear that all the time, like, well, I'm willing, but they aren't. Or, whatever, like, I'll eat better, or I'll do this, or I'll read the book, or
shut up and do it. Like, it's just, the other person doesn't matter if you're willing. Right. If you give it your all for a year and stop pressing and poking and prodding the other person, but just live your life with love and gratitude towards them, and find out what their love language is, and find out how you can show God's grace to them through you, then a lot of things are going to change. I see this all the time in like the self-improvement field. When people fix themselves, their whole energy changes. And there's something that's called like a seeking heart energy. And it's just like, I need your support. I need your this. I need all the good words from you. And if you can figure out how to cut that out, then all of a sudden you notice everybody else's I need. And you're able to kind of give them in the right times, give them this I need. And and instead you are no longer searching for your own I need. And it's such a cool thing.
Yeah, and I think both genders do this, but I've talked to so many women that they are very dependent on other people for their own happiness. And I think to what you're saying, you can't depend on somebody else to make you happy, right? So, of course, God, right, there's that relationship, but you have to work on yourself too. So, you are not responsible for my happiness. Yeah. Of course, you should help and you make me happy, but at the end of the day, I need to take action to be okay with who I am, right? And until that happens, nobody's going to fix you. So you have to really take responsibility, and just improving yourself more than likely is going to help improve your total marriage.
Yeah. And don't ever be ashamed to get help, because like, think about what you have been really good at in your life. Most likely you had a coach or a mentor or someone that taught you this, someone that guided you on this. Do not be ashamed as an adult to get a coach, to get help, to reach out and ask for advice. It's one of the silliest things that ever happens to us as we age. It's like we become more and more insecure and less willing to ask for help to get away from that. And it's a terrible cycle to go in. So, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like early on, I was having some family issues that were also kind of trickling into our marriage. And I went to a therapist, 3 sessions, maybe? I think it was. It was maybe 2. But it was so difficult for me to do that, because I think that kind of gets shamed too. You don't need to talk to somebody, but talking to somebody outside of your sphere who can give you a different perspective. It was 2 discussions. And I honestly think that changed our marriage. Yeah. I think if I hadn't done that, hopefully we'd still be together, but I think that was very much a waterfall thing, that it kind of trickled all the way down to other areas. Yeah. But again, you have to be willing to seek help if you need it. Yeah.
And here's the thing, a coach, just like with when Kim went and did that, a coach is going to say the same exact thing that some of your loved ones are saying. Like, hey, this isn't cool what that person's doing. Do not let this happen. It's on you. And then that's it. But
you need that somebody else.
Reassurance. So, let's see what else we have. And to kind of move back to the fun thing, people think, oh, my wife doesn't enjoy my hobbies, my husband doesn't enjoy my hobbies, or whatever's going on. You don't have to enjoy them. Just support them.
I can tell you
things I do.
I do not enjoy all of Mike's hobbies. Let me tell you that.
She listens to me, and we've gotten good at this. This is literally just something happened in the last year. It used to be she would just get annoyed with me and just like frustrated and cut the conversation off very abruptly. And I would feel very unloved by the only person I want love from. And something that's happened over the years and years and years in our relationship is that when I feel hurt, I tell her that I feel hurt. And if I can figure out right then why, I tell her. But if I can't figure out, I just let her know, like, I'll keep thinking on this and try to figure out why I feel hurt right now. But we try to separate the emotional part, like the emotional thing of like, I'm hurt, it's your fault because I'm hurt. We try to just stop that in its tracks. And we do like, okay, I'm hurt, I'm not sure why. Can we just pull back and kind of look at this without emotion? And we literally talk through the conversation we just had. And yeah, it's tedious sometimes, but that's been one of the biggest things that we've been able to do. And it's so cool that we can do that. It's not always easy. It generally happens more often if there's alcohol involved. So keep in mind, if you are fighting all the time when you have a drink, maybe you need to stop drinking, or maybe you need to work on some other things before you have a couple of drinks together again. So
there's probably a reason it's coming up, though, because you feel more comfortable saying it. Again, not to say that it's correct, but to go back to your hobby thing, though, I think it's kind of like important to note, obviously, we are very different in a lot of ways. You are the talkative one of the bunch. Not to say I don't talk, but you talk more frequently than I do. So for me, sometimes even with your hobbies and stuff like that, it's just a lot of information coming at me at one time. And my ability to handle like even just that kind of, I don't want to say noise, but just like the talking, right?
It's noise.
It hits me very differently than like someone like you, where I just hit a point where I'm like, I'm done. I can't hear it. So
those are exact words I've heard before, by the way.
Yeah, they are.
New amazing fun thing I've found, and because part of how when I'm sharing, that's how that's a lot of times how I figure problems out and how I learn further. So as I'm sharing, I just have like these aha moments, which is my favorite thing about doing interviews, is I have these aha moments right in the middle of everything. And like probably a quarter of what I said today was all aha moments of like, holy crap, that is what's going on. So so with her, she would just knock me down, and it was really painful. So
yeah, so I think I've gotten a little better. I'm not great, but I have to communicate in a nicer way. Like, I hear you, I know you're excited, but legit, man, like I just can't take anymore. I've
hit my limit now. I've hit my limit.
I hit my limit. I can't hear about mead anymore. I can't hear about magnets or bonsais or
we've never talked about magnets here before.
Cigars, like Rube Goldberg machines. I don't know. I just can't. Like, I am done. So, but I think that's important though, because I think that creates, like, for me, that would create anxiety, and then I wouldn't realize why I was so stressed out because I couldn't get away from that. Like, it just, my personality was like just to retreat rather than to say, okay, let's just take a step back. But now, like, when I say that to you, because I do it in a more respectful manner, you're like, okay, I get it. And then we can kind of, deal with it a little differently. Mm-hmm. But that could be applied. I mean, that's not just a hobby thing, right? That could be applied to even the drama, right? Like people who talk about drama all the time. Like we've had that conversation too, where I'm like, all right, we can't talk about negative stuff anymore. We need to like get on a more positive note here.
Yeah, guys, if you're ever talking to us and you see us like wanting to inch away from you and you don't think you're talking drama, think about what you're actually saying. It's probably drama, at least to us. And we will avoid you.
So what's interesting? Yeah, I find myself now, and this could go down a whole different rabbit hole here, but we talk about energy a lot, but there's like the sway test for energy that, like, if it's a yes, your body goes forward more, and if it's a no, it goes back. But when people are super negative, this is just like an interesting experiment. The body naturally sways backwards, right? it's like the body's way of like, I'm feeling this energy and I need to retreat from it. I need to get away from it. But I didn't really ever, I was never able to like conceptualize what that meant, but that feeling. So it's kind of interesting. I notice that all the time now. And it's even when people aren't talking specifically about drama and stuff, it could just be something and I feel my body swaying backwards and I'm like, all right, I need to get away from this.
And so Brett Barry, like what a name to remember, man. It's so terrific to hear your name. I haven't talked to you for so long. So we really appreciate this, man. This is all we want to do in life is it's literally why we share. Like that's like my whole purpose in life. That's what God gave me to do, is to learn things and then share it with people.
That's really nice.
Yeah. So I'm not made to teach. I am terrible at setting things up in order and teaching, but I can write a couple notes and spitball a bunch of things. So we appreciate that, man. We really do. So I had something else too. I'm kind of losing it. Oh, one of our fun things that we started doing, and this is just like, I think right here we're pretty much done unless people have any more questions. Oh, one last thing, because I am insecure. I did have written down, make husbands feel sexy and wanted.
So apparently I'm not doing a very good job at that.
Well, no, that's something that like over the years have come up multiple times. And like, we've talked about it. Like, I do really feel like I want to feel sexy. And listen, guys, it's okay. Like, we call it, masculine. We want to feel masculine, but if you want to feel wanted by your wife, isn't part of that feeling sexy, right? Like when I'm out chopping wood, I just assume she can't get away from the window. Like she just wants to stare at me while I'm doing that. Not the case. But Kim, when you have randomly told me like, you look so hot in those Carhartts, or like, that's been very random, but like when you've told me those things, it just feels terrific and it feels amazing. But here's where I falter as well. I don't make you feel sexy either. So, and like, I don't tell you, like when you're laughing, it is one of the sexiest things to me. And when you're telling jokes and making other people laugh, because I think you are hilarious. And so many people don't, because I do talk too much.
So many people don't.
No. There was a comma supposed to be there. Let me get the camera back into focus here. So many people don't get to see that side of you because I am too aggressively in everyone's face. Or they don't know you as well. And like when we're at like a party or something or with friends, you crack people up way more than I do. And I love it. I love seeing that. And I love seeing you surprise people in who you are. And it's so much fun to me. But that's when I think of you as so sexy right then.
Oh, that's nice.
And all your Amazon dresses too. They're all terrific as well. I like my favorite things. We're spreading the love of Amazon $20 dresses.
Everybody, all the ladies out there, go buy some flowy dresses on Amazon.
So yeah, like feeling sexy feels good. If you think your spouse is trying to get you to say something to them about feeling sexy, you better say it. So
wait, side note real quick, because I think this is funny and it kind of ties things in. So for sure, you thought like when we first got married that I was just like salivating over you in the yard, right?
Not
like
once did you do that.
So, but here's the thing. There's a couple things that's funny. So the older I get, like the sexier that gets. But I think because my love language is acts of service, it's more because like of course you're a stud and you're looking good doing it, right? But it's more because like I realize what you're doing is an act of service, right? So to me, like that, and again, it's the love language thing, right? That is sexier to me, that like you are doing something for us, for our family, like you're working really, really hard to do that. So like in the beginning, maybe there just wasn't quite an appreciation of that. Or when I did a little bit of the manual work and I was like, holy crap, this is hard.
That's another key, guys. When you work outside a lot, have your wife help you just every once in a while. Like
seriously,
pull a bush out. Hey, we just have to dig around this bush 2 foot deep and cut the roots with an axe or a spud bar. Just have her help for 5 minutes. That's
It's horrible. And the appreciation that you get from it, because when we were taking those bushes out from around the garage, you were doing that in like 90-degree heat. And I came out for like 5 seconds because I'm like, oh, I'll help them. This will speed things up. I couldn't even get the shovel into the ground. Like, it was horrible. And you were like knocking these trees down. So, but honestly, like it is a different appreciation when you try to do it and you're like, wow, this is really hard.
Yeah. But with that said, I didn't totally finish my thought on the love languages. So I've heard of testimonials of people who've been married for 25 years, ready for divorce, Christian couples that like, they just felt they were so grown apart. And like the husband came home and he would sweep, do the dishes. I mean, he'd come home from a 9-hour day and do 4 hours of work every evening because he wanted to show his wife how much he loved her. And he was doing this out of love. It wasn't anger. I mean, he wasn't like feeling pressured
or guilt.
She was ready to leave him. And when they finally got to a preacher who could explain the 5 love languages and walk them through that, he found out she didn't want acts of service. She wanted communication. So she just wanted him to sit down on the couch for 10 minutes every night and listen to her about her day. Their marriage exploded into this beautiful like example of what a marriage should be in a Christian household. And like it gives me the chills that like all you have to do is what the other person is looking for. You're already trying to show love in some way. And if you're not, get on board, people. So you're already trying to show love. You want them to love you. You want to give them love because they're the person that God gave you. So you want to love them the right way. So like literally, if you're struggling, if your marriage is struggling, double check what your love language is or what your spouse's love language is and the things that can change with that. And Kim and I still aren't great at it, but you know what she does amazingly well is tells me every time I do anything. I don't even if I'm doing it for a friend, she thanks me for stuff. And I'm like, why are you thanking me? You know, like, but that's because it matters so much to her. That's her love language as well. So
that's probably true. That's very interesting. I think that probably is why I do it because that's what matters to me. So when I see you doing it, it's even more appreciation.
Yeah. So, and somebody that I forgot to mention earlier, whenever we were talking about people who have changed our lives and couples we look up to, Pete and Rachel, they are 2 of our best friends. And they are truly just such blessings in our lives. And they're just such an example for us and such a great couple to look up to. And they have 4 children and just an amazing mess of a life in the best way possible, you know, with kids running around and things happening and trying to go on vacation here or there, coming back, Pete's working, you know, it's just a terrific thing. So
what a good example. I think that's key too, like to have other couples that you look up to so that it helps you to like, you have something that you're shooting for, right? Who you surround yourself with.
What's amazing about them is they are a couple we look up to, but we also feel on the same page. We feel very much on par with them in so many ways. And just so grateful for their friendship. So back to the play, Kim.
The what? Play.
Do you want to do affirmators?
I guess. Yes.
So, we don't have to at all, but like we find like a little thing that we love to play around with. And like, so anytime we go visit family or, I mean, I've taken this to a bachelor party weekend. It's like super stupid stuff. So I'll pull one. We'll just do one.
Okay.
But I always try to like pull these out at the beginning of a weekend or beginning of if we're visiting or hanging with people. And so this is like, it's real dumb, but it's really fun. So it's
there's the unicorn again.
There's a unicorn. 50 affirmation cards to help you help yourself without the self-helpiness. And our buddy Chris just chimed in. Chris Pryor, he has played with these affirmators before as well. So just I'll read you one. I just pulled it out of the deck, and it's really interesting how it always just kind of sets the mood for the weekend or the evening, whatever we're doing. It's just stupid, silly fun, and it's always positive stuff. So this one says wonder, and it looks like a bunch of people with 3D glasses on. It's odd looking, actually. I've never pulled this one. It's a wonderful thing to be in a state of wonder. And when I'm a good audience to my life becomes better and better theater. When something delightful happens, I can shout, encore, and be tickled when it happens again. When something maddening happens, I can laugh it off. Either way, I'm glad I got a ticket to the show.
Oh.
This might be one of the best ones we ever pulled.
Do you think you'll start yelling encore now when things happen? I kind of want you to.
I'm going to now. That's terrific.
I mean, it's no ding dong magic, but
ding dong magic. So, and here's the thing, guys. Having fun can also be like one of the things we look forward to is just sitting down and watching TV. We don't cuddle when we watch TV. We are not super lovey-dovey people. We want to be, but we're not yet. So when we watch TV, we are sitting on far ends of the couch or in different chairs, but we just love laughing and watching ding dong magic together. Magic for humans. So, Denise Lander says it's been a long time since we looked at our love languages. Yeah, definitely. Right. It's always a good thing to re-up on and figure out again. Chris, what a cute face. And Rachel.
Rachel's I'm gonna cry, Rachel. I'm not crying.
Going through some stuff this week, and we've just been really, really grateful to be able to be part of her staff, her help. So we can't talk about Rachel without crying.
We talk about Rachel.
So, and the next thing that we've been incorporating this year, like we said, we do not do our God side of things as good as we should at all. Yeah. At all. So Rachel's already crying, she says. So something we've incorporated in, and guys, Kim looked for quite a while to find a good devotional. And this one is terrific. I don't know. It's just, so we don't, like we said earlier, we have trouble sitting in prayer with each other outside of like praying for our meals and stuff. Yeah. We don't really do the things that we feel we should be doing as a godly couple. So what we're going to do, today's the 18th. Yeah. So we didn't do our devotional yet today. So I think we're just going to end this with us doing our devotional. That's kind of like a personal thing, but I think I'm okay with doing it. So generally we would be in the same room as each other, having a coffee or something. And what I do is I just read the verse. So it's set up, and this is, it's a little God time for couples. And this company makes several of them, but it's set up so it has the verse on top. It has a little thing about the verse. It has questions to talk over, and then it has a prayer at the end. It's about the best setup that I could think of for doing a devotional together. Because what's the point of just reading a verse and just going, what do you think about that? I don't know.
Yeah, the questions are helpful. Because otherwise, like you said, you just kind of like read it and say, okay.
Yeah. And so like, we're really impressed with this all the time. We rarely come up with one that we are like, that was kind of boring or something. But so what we're going to do is hopefully this is just a good one. And I read through the verse 3 times. And unfortunately, this is a long verse today, but it's just—
I was going to say, is it long or short?
Long. And that's always Kim's advice, is to read through it 3 times because you hear it differently each time. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to read through this 3 times. It's the title of today is Bumps in the Road, and it's Psalms 1:1-2. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sit in the seat of scoffers, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. Psalms 1:1-2. So I'm going to repeat that. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. One more time. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. Psalms 1:1-2. So, and this is where the author writes through some things and just kind of gives a little story. So, no marriage is without a few bumps. These bumps can turn into total derailment if there is no preparation. The Word of God is filled with over 5,000 promises and 600 laws. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Regular studying of the Bible will help us to understand how to listen to God instead of a self-help book or TV infomercial. When you need to make a decision, run to the wise counsel of God. Call your pastor. Don't let disagreements fester. The best way to avoid big problems in your marriage is to never let them get big. Forge a friendship with a couple in your church that has been married longer than you. Ask them to share with you what they do to keep love fresh and communication good. What makes their relationship work? Don't let embarrassment or pride keep you from dealing with problems. So this was just very timely for this one.
Yeah, always is.
So, so the questions now. You're right. It really always is timely.
It always is. Yeah.
Do you have Christians in your life who can help you with your marriage relationship? Talk about where in the Bible you can search for help when you have trouble. So, yes, that was quite a few minutes of our conversation here. All about the people that we love and respect. And I literally just reached out to one of them earlier today and said, hey, I think we want to do a little series on Facebook of Christian marriages, or just marriages, because we have friends who may not be Christians, but still have what looks to me a very godly marriage. Even though I don't think they're Christians, I'm not sure what their beliefs are, because they kind of are an open belief, which I don't agree with that, but I love them to death, and I know God put them in my life to learn from them.
I would say you can still learn though, right? There's always something you can learn.
Yeah, so much. So we do have Christians in our life who can help with our marriage and our relationship, and like Denise Lander is one of them. Denise and Kevin, Rachel and Pete certainly are. The Lottonans, Craig and Heather Lawton, and I wanted to have Heather on anyways for something else. And that was like somebody I reached out and I was like, listen, like if you guys got the love languages down, I mean, if they got it down, Craig is a man for me to look up to in so many ways. Calm, godly, terrific, just a terrific man, unbelievable man. So,
even Pastor. I mean, we reach out to Pastor quite a bit.
Rich and Amy. Yeah. What am I thinking? My goodness. And they're not that much older than us, and they are far more experienced in life. They've also done marriage counseling, which gives you, when you teach something, you just get so much more out of it. So, so the next question would be, talk about where in the Bible you can search for help when you have trouble. I don't know. That's where we are lacking, is a lot of people can just dive into the Bible and just boom, they know where they need to look. Maybe Proverbs, or I'm sorry, Song of Solomon, right? So that's kind of the sexy book of the Bible. People think Christians are prudes, but read through Song of Solomon and kind of just use your imagination.
It's legit, yeah.
So it might be a little higher than PG-13, guys.
But there's also like this thing called Google, and you could maybe search in, scripture for marriages or encouragement for marriages or something like that. So we have that blessing now that you can find it really quickly.
Yeah. You used to have to spend a couple $100s on the Bible software, but when computers were still on floppy disks. So also just think about the verses that are always said during a marriage ceremony.
All right. Love is patient. Love is kind.
Yeah. Or leave, we are meant to leave our parents, and what's the word? Cling or cleave
right?
to our spouse. That always sounds weird to me.
I don't know.
Wrong word. But anyways, so Denise, yes, she says, I can't believe this. I've been wanting to get a couples devotional. Denise, this thing,
it's
we
so
bought
good.
a bunch of these because we like it so much.
Yeah.
So if the way this is set up resonates with you, this is what we try to do every day now. And we just started this a few months ago, but we really, really, really like it.
It's on Amazon. It's like $12 and it takes maybe 5 to 10 minutes. But the questions are good. And then I'm sure Mike will read it. But at the end, after you evaluate it all, then there's a prayer that's very specific to that devotional.
Yeah. Copter Bob says, you guys are as good as frozen marshmallows. Yum. I have never had a frozen marshmallow.
Me either. I can't say that I've had a frozen marshmallow.
We have some smashmallows, which are like healthier versions that we can actually eat.
Yeah.
That I'm not allergic to.
We might have to freeze some marshmallows. Thanks,
Copter
Bob.
Always teaching me. That's another guy that's a really terrific guy. I'm always learning something from him. He's always out to help everybody. So, so I'm going to read the prayer now.
Okay.
And we just kind of read through this. When you're reading a prayer, it's always hard for me to like make it a prayer. So we more or less read through this as a statement for God and to God, a statement of a question almost. So, Lord, we want your wisdom and counsel when we disagree. Help us work together to heal our hearts. Help us work together to heal our hurts. Help us to be aware when our spouse is hurting. We want our marriage to be strong and vibrant. So I think I have to read that one again because I think that's really important to me. So, Lord, we want your wisdom and counsel when we disagree. Help us work together to heal our hurts. Help us to be aware when our spouse is hurting. We want our marriage to be strong and vibrant.
That's so good. Are you going to turn the page down?
Yep, just did. We have I don't know, maybe about 15 of these turned down, mostly because of the prayers. They're just incredible. The person that wrote this, I don't even know.
I don't know, but every day it's really good. And so I would imagine, so I bought a couple other versions of these too. So I want to kind of look through those to see. But talk about like an amazing wedding gift or just anytime gift for a couple that you know and love. I mean, it's really great. Yeah.
And Rachel said, so God is often spoken of as our rock through hard times, and sometimes he sends his rock of strength through his people. And she's been that for us as well. And I'm learning more and more, like we always think that like God's answers to prayers are just like, we're just going to feel better one day, or we're just going to not be hurt anymore. But it's not that. He shows himself through us. And that's not the only way he does it, but like, why in the world have 7 billion people on this planet and not work through them? So it's just an amazing thing. I always think of it as like, just let his light shine through me. Let his grace shine through me. But yeah, Rachel, thank you for that. Let us be the rock. Let us be the foundation for others in his name. And let us work that way for God. Whatever God wants us to be, let us be that. Whatever that means. So
real quick, and then I know we got to go because this turned into way longer, but I think it was like 2 days ago, there was a kindness one and kind of the same concept. Like it was talking about kindness. And I guess I have a tendency just to think, like we should be kind because, God gives us his grace and he shows us kindness and he tells us that we should. But the whole point of it was that God wants to work through you to be a light of his kindness. So like you being kind to other people is literally God working through you and you giving glory to him in that way. So it's not just like, well, we should be kind because he's kind to us. It's like, that's an opportunity to literally let God shine through you, which is really cool.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find where this, where it says that. It's Psalms 31:21. Praise the Lord, for he has shown me the wonders of his unfailing love. We often take the gifts and nature of God for granted, and they are everywhere in Scripture. Kindness is mentioned here in Romans, in the gifts of the Spirit in Galatians, and in the qualities of the love chapter, 1 Corinthians 13. Real freedom comes when we recognize that we draw kindness, patience, tolerance, and all other good qualities from God. That says we draw these things from God. We understand that we must be completely dependent on the Lord to do what he wants done in us. Each day gives us new opportunities to submit our lives that he may work in and through us. Think on how the Lord expressed kindness to you when he brought you into a relationship with him. It was his kindness and mercy that found you. Ask him to let his kindness flow through you to your spouse, your family, and your friends. So, and the prayer here, I think, is one that we identified with. But even if it wasn't, if I'm thinking of something different, I'm going to read it either way. Lord, we know that we respond in the flesh. Forgive us for that. We want to be identified with you, your love, your kindness, your very life. Remind us that you have made available everything we need for life and goodness. So it's just a good reminder every day. I love this thing, and I'm really grateful that you found this.
Yeah.
So
it's a God thing.
It's a God thing. And yeah, Carrie Harrington says, kindness is the fruit of spirit. It's part of the nature of God. And yeah, we agree so much with that. And what's a really amazing thing is energy work I do. And like you clear emotions out of the heart and clear these heart walls. And when you ask, are there still emotions in there? And like you're trying to clear these negative emotions. And I couldn't figure out what was going on the one day when I couldn't clear all their emotions. And then I said, well, are these negative emotions? And the answer was no. And then I I muscle tested to see, I say asked, but I muscle tested. And I muscle tested and to see what the emotions were. And they were literally the fruit of the spirit. So it's really cool that we are innate in our hearts, deep down, every single one of us has the fruit of the spirit. So like just built into us. So being human does a lot to block that. But we just have to let that through. And at all times, remember that that's us being a vessel for God. So guys, this was super fun for me. I love talking with Kim, and we always have these conversations of realization is what I like to call them. And just anytime we sit down for more than 10 minutes and chat, something comes up that we're just like, whoa, that was good. So like, I wish we could write this down. So, and we never do. We just walk away. So everybody, that's it. So enjoy your loved ones, enjoy your family. And Kim, we forgot to do this last time.
I was saying, Mike, let's do, so we have a screenshot. There we go.
We got a little, whenever I fix the post after the fact, we can have a screenshot of that, thumbs up and yeah, anyways. So.
All right, guys, thanks for your comments. It really, it makes it, really a cool conversation. And so thanks for, chiming in.
Yeah. And we'll do this more. If you guys follow anybody that you think are a terrific example, I would love to know more about them, and I would love to have Kim and I both interview them. So let us know. So love you guys. Have a great day.
Love you guys.